All right. Well, thank you for having me here. I'm told that when you are speaking in public that you shouldn't tell people that you're nervous, but I feel that this is a welcoming environment, so I'm going to tell you straight up, I'm nervous. So when Tracy asked me a while back if I'd be interested in speaking tonight as a past participant of this evening as well as of the career programming, I said yes. And then I was like, oh no, wait, I actually have to speak in front of people. And she's like, well, yes, of course. So of course it meant, you know, building me up a little, boosting my confidence, but here I am, so we'll give it a go. So currently I am the Revenue Development Manager for Manitoba and Saskatchewan for Muscular Dystrophy Canada. What this means is that I'm responsible for fundraising activities in both provinces. Primarily I work with third-party groups who fundraise for our cause. And so our main supporters are Safeway, who does a point-of-sale campaign in the summer, as well as firefighters throughout Manitoba and Saskatchewan. So it's kind of a fun job. So you're probably wondering, how did I get there? How have I done this? I'm still fairly, new to my career. But to give you an idea, we'll just go over it. So I went to university, and like most university students, my first year was spent trying to figure out exactly what I wanted to do. And let me tell you, that first year I changed my mind probably every week. But I finally landed on recreation management and community development. So I basically have the longest title for a bachelor's degree known to anyone I've ever heard of. I had worked at McDonald's during high school, and I had worked my way up to shift manager, and I had also worked a number of different part-time jobs in university with the idea of being able to get different experiences from, working in sales, working in management, just so that I would be a well-rounded person. So when I entered my first professional work experience, I would be versatile and be able to handle everything. So during my second last year of university, I was taking an event management course, and someone came in who was a former student to talk about what he does and how he got where he was. And he also came hawking this job, working for the Women's Hockey Championships. And so I, of course, applied for the job, and a short time later I was hired, which was great. It was great to get that experience. So this was basically my dream job at this point, in my last year of university. And it was just a small team of people that had put together the event. We had Greg, our general manager, Hustler, who was our ticket sales manager, and Liz, our operations manager. And I was able to learn so much from each and every one of them. I jumped at every opportunity to be on any of the different committees. So I participated in the volunteer staff, the marketing, promotions, everything. And even now, Liz is still, I consider her to be one of my close and dear friends, as well as my mentor. And I cannot impart upon you enough that getting a mentor is huge. You need to do it, and I think every position, everywhere you work, you should have someone in there that is your mentor. So moving on from there, I did actually go out to Vancouver, and I started working for the Vancouver Olympics. Unfortunately, it just wasn't the right position for me at that point in my career, so I left on good terms and went and worked for the Police and Fire Games. It was a role that allowed me to be involved in many aspects of the planning process, which is what I wanted. And because we had the event itself, because this is Winnipeg and not Vancouver, a lot of people don't really know what it is, but there's over 12,000 participants, which would make it the second largest sporting event in the world, second only to the Summer Olympics. So it's actually bigger than the Winter Olympics in terms of participants. However, we only had $8.5 million to work with. So obviously each staff person was very involved in different things going on, and so I was able to learn a lot more and be more versatile than ever before. But it was, it was a lot of work, and it was a lot of fun. But at the end of my time there, I had decided that I was going to come back to Winnipeg because it is where my heart is. This is where my family and friends are. So I decided I was going to come back. I needed to recuperate a little bit because working 3 or 4 months at 12 hours a day, up to 16 hours was a little much. Needed a little break. So I came back. I spent a while, I actually enrolled in a couple university classes. Those classes were actually what led me to the Winnipeg Transition Center and the Women as Career Mentors Night. And so I participated in both events because Tracy, really encouraged me. And I think, it took me, when I came back from Vancouver, it took me 5 months to find a new job. And part of this is because it was coming back in the late fall, and that it's slow. The job market is definitely really slow, but I really felt strongly that I needed to make sure that I was positioning myself in a way that would make me a desirable candidate when the right thing came along. So I cannot encourage you enough to find out, if you can't do the Winnipeg Transition Center's workshops, go online and find out everything you can about building a resume and making that perfect cover letter and interview skills, because that's what's going to get you the job. I mean, the resume, that gets you in the door, but it's the interview that's so important. And I know I have a funny little story. Last summer, I had to hire a student, and I had hired people when I worked for McDonald's, but it's not the same. Most of those people, it's their first job. They filled a little application form, no big deal. But I had to hire a summer student. I had over 75 applications. So how did I sort through the 75 applications, right? I got rid of every single person whose resume or cover letter wasn't very good. Because I felt like the person that I hired had to have initiative. They didn't have to be, have this huge, massive resume that was oh so perfect and wow, you can totally do this job. No, it just had to look nice. And unfortunately, a lot of people's didn't. And I can't express to you guys enough, you need to find out how to make a resume, because it's the easiest way for a potential employer to cut you out. And you know what? It worked. I ended up with less than half of those people, and it was much easier to go through. So that's really all I want you to take away from what I'm saying. So important. So yeah, that's kind of what brought me to where I am. I think that having participated in the workshops last year and this night is what got me the job working for Muscular Dystrophy Canada. So that's all I have to say.